Quad City Killers. It's murderous fun for the whole family. And today we are delighted to have the creators of this game, Dexter Dakota and Adam Zonca. Adam, I hope I said that correctly.
Oh, yeah, nailed it.
Awesome. Welcome, gentlemen, to Kicking Tables. We're so happy to have you here. We want to talk about your game. Tell us about Quad City Killers. What is this game? Give us the lowdown.
Well, it's a game where all of the players play as serial killers. It's the only game that we're aware of that has that kind of particular theme to it. A lot of games out there have this, you're hunting the serial killer, you're trying to escape from the serial killer, and we just wanted to have a little bit more fun with that. The idea is basically you travel around the Quad Cities, which is actually 6 cities, and there are mechanics for traveling like dice rolls. There's also cards that work at it, but there are prey cards, which are ID cards, and they end up being your trophies for your kills. So that's how you kind of tally your score, is by how many trophies you have and their notoriety points. But you use dice rolls, weapon cards, resource cards, scenario cards in order to attack the prey as they come up in each of the cities, and you can travel between them. How's that?
So how do you end up winning the game? What's your overall goal?
The game ends when one person has maxed out their dexterity on their player card, and then everybody counts up the notoriety points on their prey cards, and the one with the most notoriety wins.
Very cool. So that's notoriety by killing the most people.
Yes and no, because there are some people with 1 point of notoriety all the way up to 9 or 10 points of notoriety. So you could technically have less kills. Yeah.
The harder a prey is to kill, generally the higher the notoriety will be.
Okay, excellent. So you got to balance that. Do I go for the tough one, or do I work my way up with a couple of small ones?
Exactly.
Yeah. Very nice.
All right. So I'm curious, where the idea for this game came from, number one. Number two, did you guys have 4 cities to start with and then move up to 6, or did 6 city killers just not sound right to you?
No. Actually, it's kind of funny. The idea, we have a friend who is an avid board game player in Grand Rapids here, and he must have like 200, 150, 200 games.
Yeah, too many.
In his collection, and so
I disagree with the too many statement. That's just I don't even think
is that not a thing?
That's not a thing. No.
By the way, your backgrounds look a little different than mine for some reason. I've got a curtain, but hiding all of our games, right? Yeah, hiding all of our games.
That's what it is.
But no, so we were playing all these games, and I was asking about kind of how the different things, and the games, there's a lot of mechanics that are in common, but from game to game.
Sure.
But the interesting part is either the theme and then how you tie the different mechanics together, and like kind of the flow of the game, right?
Right.
And I just kind of randomly asked, hey, are there any games where you get to play as a serial killer? And we all thought about it, and then nobody could think of anything. And I went home like I always do, and I went on the internet and searched and found a couple. I think they actually were on Board Game Geek that were conceptualized, but nothing had ever happened. And they were years and years old. Okay.
So you just out of the blue said, I wanna play as a serial killer? Was that just
yeah?
just sit down one night. I want to be a serial killer
in a super fun and healthy way.
Yes,
absolutely. Well, and this guy, I mean, you can say all you want, but this guy is like, I'm like, hey, I've got this idea for a serial killer board game. Let me tell you about it. He's like, I'm in. Don't worry about it.
Done.
So that's where it started. But the Quad Cities, for anybody that doesn't know, is essentially 6 cities that border the Mississippi or straddle the Mississippi River, Illinois and Iowa. Interestingly enough, like I said, there's 6. Riverdale doesn't count. Nobody counts it for some reason, even though it's right in the middle. I think it's because it's so tiny. But also East Moline doesn't count. They figure it's not. It is its own town. It's incorporated under its own name and blah blah blah. But they still call it the Quad Cities to this day, even though they've been 6 cities since like 1927.
Interesting.
I don't know why that fascinates me, but it does. And they have their own. None of the cities have their own minor or major league sports teams, but they do have like a AAA baseball team that is the Quad City baseball team. Like all the towns.
Okay.
They have a bridge that is famous for some reason. Do you remember what it was called?
It's a cool bridge.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It's
honestly.
the cool bridge of Quad Cities. Apparently, the ballpark actually has a is that a Ferris wheel? Ferris wheel?
Yeah.
What's the other one? Merry-go-round.
Or carousel.
I don't know why. Carousel, right? But then, but yeah, and the whole idea when we were talking about this serial killers was like, where could we put them? Because we knew we wanted a map and we knew we wanted to travel, but where would we put them? And I remembered Quad Cities and said that would be hilarious. The idea of 6 serial killers roaming around at the same time and all 6 cities together have like 380,000 people or something like that. So
Okay.
yeah, that'd be great to just put them there. So
Well, and speaking of the serial killers, the player boards, it looks like they have actual photographs on them for the serial killers. Are these photos of people you know? I'm really curious.
They will be. We're going to be selling spaces on the killer cards.
No.
And free cards as well.
yeah.
So you'll be able to be in the game if you'd like.
Yeah, the whole idea is once the Kickstarter is funded, there will be about 12 serial killers that you can be, and you'll be in every game. And then there's 72 prey cards, and you can be one of the prey cards as well. So, yeah, the ones that you're looking on there now are, where did you find a felony database or something like that? They're all felons.
Wow.
So I don't know what rights they have, but yeah, those aren't meant to go out in the world. Those are for prototypes. But yeah, it's pretty hilarious. So.
That's awesome. So you were talking about the baseball team. I got to ask then, are they some of your victims?
Now they will be.
That's great.
So, can you give us an idea of some of the card types that you have in the game? And I'd love to know what some of your favorite like murder implement cards, are in your game.
Your most favorite way to kill someone?
Yeah, yeah.
We were very intentional with what we picked. For example, there's no guns. There's no guns in our game. We also took a lot of the gore. We were, out of what could have been there. And so the idea is like we have a poison toad, a cane toad as one of our cards.
Yeah.
We have pickle jar. And the text on the pickle jar card looks like you forgot to bring a weapon. Grab the nearest heavy object and give him a whack. That kind of stuff.
Nice.
There are some interesting things. Like for me, they're interesting. There's it's. I'm going to say this because we've fought over this card for so long, but it's Stockholm syndrome. Okay,
Yeah.
So you can use the card and a prey in the city. So the prey cards lay out in each city. So you can use the card to use one of the prey as a weapon.
What?
Against another prey.
Oh,
Very
The
cool.
rub is then you have to attack. If you are successful, then you have to attack that first prey afterwards. So there's stuff. There's a lot of stuff like that in there. There's quite a bit of tongue in cheek. There is a spork, and the card actually
Nice.
says nobody will believe you that you did this. So keep this card with your victim for an extra notoriety point. That.
that's
kind of
great.
So,
I mean, that
tried-
the tongue-in-cheek stuff is definitely what makes it murderous fun for the whole family.
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
you can't go too dark.
Yeah. So, well, and we shared some images. Did you see the box cover that we?
I
it's a-
did. That looks like the old school Milton Bradley. Yes.
That's exactly right.
It's
Love
exactly
it.
what we're going for. And
In fact, I'm going to
Jason-
put that.
that's Jason.
I'm going to put that on the thumbnail for this video.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's Jason and Holly and 3 of their 17 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, they got 6 kids. We don't know, but it's but yeah, when they've been fans and they've been play testing with us forever, and we told them about the idea, and they're like, "Yeah, we're in.
Nice.
We're in. That's no problem."
Oh,
and
yeah.
as you can imagine, all the girls are all teenage girls, so they're all like, "Well, there's a hair out of here, and there's my spot on my nose," and he's gonna kill me that I'm making fun of them right now, but that's all right.
So is that going to be the actual box cover for the game?
A little tweaking, yes, but
That's brilliant. I loved it. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, yes, that's awesome. I love it. How long have you been working on the game? And I'm curious what kind of struggles you had while you were developing it. What was some of the hardest things to actually balance and make right while you were playing?
Sure. Do you want to tell them how long it's been? 'Cause
Yeah, sure. It's been just over a year now, right?
We just looked it up, and the first email that I sent to him with kind of the original script,
the rough
basically,
draft,
the rough
yeah.
draft was December 12th, I think, or something like that. Yeah, so it's been just over a year. I don't think either of us ever worked on one project for a whole year.
Nice.
So, but okay. So to answer your other question, I'll say this, and I say this all the time. It's really true. We made a couple of agreements very early in the process. One was each of us get a veto, no matter what.
Okay.
So if he comes up with an idea and I just don't like it, I come with it, he doesn't like it, the other person gets a veto. And the reason is because if I can't explain it well enough to him that he's in on it, that he's into it, then I haven't done my work. I haven't
Right.
done the
Okay.
right work.
Okay.
And it forces me to go back and just try it again. The other thing that we don't do, we don't die on any hill. That there's very very few
Mhm.
items in the game. There's very few cards in the game. I have died on Stockholm syndrome, and we have reworked it 4 times,
Wow.
and he's still pretty sure.
It's part of the game now. So.
Yeah, it's there now. We've got it there now, but it took forever. But I appreciate that he was willing to do that, because if we love it, you know how that is, man. Like
Of course.
if we love it, you're going to hear that in our voice. You're going to see it in the art, and we know nobody knows us.
Right.
Nobody knows us now. So all we've got is we've got no reputation to build off of, right? So we've just got to make this thing pretty and make it fun and that. So it was the hardest part was losing certain things that you just knew were right.
Okay.
Like certain mechanics. I'm trying to think of what was the one that we lost and brought back.
Uh,
Do you remember? Was it Travel or something like that?
Travel we totally rebuilt.
There was all these things that we did in the very beginning, and I think we both knew a lot of them were good ideas, but they weren't working, and we threw them out.
Okay.
And then 5, 6 play tests later, because every time we would play test, we'd go and rework something, right? And we, like I said, we had an amazing group of friends that has helped us through this process. But we go back, and we were at this game shop right by us playing. I think it was at Out of the Box, and we're looking at each other, and something didn't work. And then I think this guy Kyle or maybe Jason suggested whatever, and they said, "Hey, try that. What do you think about this?" And we both looked at each other and we said,
like those from like the first iteration.
"Yeah, like we could bring that back now. Like it works again."
Okay.
It was such a great moment, because we knew it was right. We just couldn't figure out how to fit it.
Yeah.
So
Right. Do you have any fun stories that happened while playtesting? Stuff that were just was so amazing, you loved it, or something that really sticks out as that was a fun moment?
The first time there was a playtest. It was at Out of the Box. When we finally got the scores, it was a struggle. Going back to the last question, it was a struggle to get the scores to be close, because you don't want one person to just monopolize the game.
Yeah.
That's
good.
game. We made some minor tweaks, and we were like, okay, let's see how this works. And we actually had a tie, and then like all the other scores were like 1 or 2 below, and it was just like nailed it. Like
the game before, he's right. The game before was like the winner had 37, and then it was 26, and then it was like 12, 9, and 3.
Oh wow!
And we're like, oh, the hell on! Like this is not okay.
It's not balanced.
And, yeah, and then we had the I don't remember who said it, but one of it. Well, somebody said it, and we said, yeah, let's try it. He's absolutely right. And then when we came back, it was like 37, 34, 29, 26. And we're like, yes, like
that's
that.
Good.
It made the whole. Do you remember what it was? I don't even remember what it was.
The change?
Yeah, what was the change?
It might have been like the sliding dexterity thing. I don't remember.
Oh, well, yeah, because we had a lot of things where even, like, for example, when you get, like, every time you have a successful kill, you get 1 more point of dexterity. And in the beginning, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That changed at some point to 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3.
Okay.
4.
Okay.
And that made a huge difference, when you could use cards. Like we found some people were not using these scenario cards to create a situation where you had a better chance of kills, and then some people were immediately like, do I have to use an action to use that, or can I use that again and again? And we would go like kind of at whim, just try it. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. And they would 6 kills, and you're okay. That's clearly not going to be. Yeah, that's okay. So, but yeah, and I know people get frustrated. We know people that put together games too, and like even Jason and Kyle, like I said, these guys who have been in this for a long time. I understand why they get frustrated. I understand why it's easy to put it away, but this, I'm the more complimentary guy. I think this guy's awesome. I couldn't have done this without him. I hope he thinks he couldn't have done it without me. We'll see.
It was your idea, so obviously.
Well, said obviously, so everything's fine. But yeah, I think it's been that dynamic. We have a lot of different points of reference for this, and we have a lot of different ways that we approach it, and. Yeah, I think that's been one of the funnest things. So.
That's great. The game sounds awesome. Like it sounds like it's so much fun.
Yeah. So I've got to ask if you have any of your Kickstarter stretch goals that you might be able to tease for us, and whether or not you might have any expansions or anything planned.
Yeah. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's all you, man.
Okay. All right. As far as the stretch goals, the first couple of stretch goals, because like I said, we're trying to be modest, we're trying to be humble. Is better pieces. Just like a lot of games at our stage, they tend to start out with meeples. We did found a guy that does the 3D printing, and he's doing it. I think it's a favor price, it's a friend price, but we're able to do these little skull pawns.
Oh, nice.
The bottom half is essentially a pawn with a little skull on top. They're amazing, but there was a couple other things like that in the game that will be the first couple of stretch goals. As far as the other ones, no, we're not going to talk about the other ones because we're partially because I think a couple are pretty cool, partially because we don't know a couple of them.
Okay.
But the expansion pack, we do have a set of cards they're a little bit, they're not quite as family friendly, they're not quite not safe for work, but we wanted to have a little bit of fun with it because we did take like I said, with the serial killers, we did take a lot of the gore out of it because again, we wanted to be family friendly and
sure,
and we wanted to have fun with it. So it is kind of a similar path of some of the games as far as the feel to it, but we know that there are people out there
that want the mature pack.
They want to mature. Yeah. So an additional 9 and 9 I think is the set, and it is just again meant to be fun, and we will definitely do different maps. We're also one of the things we're also working on now is variation play. We had a lot of people asked if it was you could play solo, right? Surprising amount of
a lot of people want solo in games these days.
Yeah,
and everybody's locked in their houses right now. They want to be able to pull something out and toss it on the table without having to bring people over.
No, absolutely. Yeah, so we said we challenged ourselves. Actually, last night we were talking about it, and I said let's just challenge ourselves. I'm sure that we can come up with it because our rub was we don't want it to be just the same game but no competition. Like that doesn't seem to make any sense. You know what I mean? So that there's got to be some way to play it like that. So I'm pretty sure we have got a good start on it. Not quite there yet. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's something. And I don't want to do. I don't want to be, one of those games where it's like Clue. We're like, no, it's Scooby-Doo Clue. It's still Clue. You know what I mean?
It's still Clue.
You do other maps. What's that?
Yeah, just like a reskin.
Yeah. We wanted to do. If we give you another map, we want there to be something interesting about it.
That's unique. It makes it unique to play that map. Right. Yeah. That's awesome. That would be incredible. Well, now, what are your plans post Kickstarter? Are you hoping to get into the stores? Are you going to sell it on your own website? What's the plan there? After, of course, you fulfilled Kickstarter. Sure. What's your plan afterwards?
A nap. We did discuss a nap.
That probably a good idea.
Yep. We're going to do that well because we're going to travel. And I have to tell you this because I am surprised at how rare this apparently is. We are kitting our own games. We have publishers and printers mostly in the United States. Okay. The only thing we don't have right now in the States is the dice, but we are literally putting them together ourselves by hand.
Wow.
So we are sure that is one long crazy weekend of us and hopefully a couple of our friends, lots of beer and
pizza and beer and just a huge game gathering party.
And of course the grease on the pizza will be the personalization on a few of the games.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I want that. I want that thumbprint on the on the instruction manual.
It's not weird.
Maybe throw a pepperoni or a mushroom in there in the box.
You get a snack then.
Great. We just started sending out the emails today to the game shops. We'll start with local, then we'll try to get around Michigan and then go from there. But we're letting people know that if they can show us that they're actually a shop. If they order, there's a pledge level with 2 games and 2 expansion packs. If they pledge that, we'll actually send them 4.
Okay, nice.
For a retail shop. So we'll give them a nice deal on that and hopefully get a few in there. We already know of probably 2 or 3 game shops that are local that are that nobody's committed to anything just yet. Right. I'm sure everybody will see how the Kickstarter turns out, but I'm sure we'll get a couple of them in there. And if you watch the video, that's shot in one of our board game shops here in Grand Rapids.
I could tell it looks cool. That was a great video.
Yeah,
it is. Thank you. That was a lot of fun to do. Yeah. So, kitting the games, getting into stores. I bug him because I'm already talking about the next game. Like, it's just an idea. It's not even to the stage that the serial killer game was when I presented it to him. But I've already started talking to him about it. And he's kind of just like, can we do this one? Is it all right if we just do this one now? So We would love to do it. I mean, we've actually gotten people reach out on Facebook as well that like the Kickstarter and said, would we help them with theirs and stuff? And
Nice.
that's
Awesome.
and to be clear, Adam is, like I said, Adam is a tremendous artist. He also got a great head on his shoulders. He is, and he's damn pretty. You know, I was going to say it sooner or later. But also, between us and graphic work and a lot of doing marketing work for other people, we've had a lot of experience in adjacent fields. Is that yeah, not games directly, but these kinds of things.
Sure.
So we'd love to help other people do this.
That's great.
But I think the biggest thing for us is just to be able to really have as much opportunity to come up with our own ideas, create our own games. If we make money, great. If we just sell enough to keep printing them, I'm cool with that too. We both survive fine.
Yeah.
We don't have to live off this if we don't if it doesn't work out for us. But of course, not going to be mad if it does. We're not stupid.
Well, first let's get the game funded. Of course, it's on Kickstarter now, and it is going on. You've got a nice long Kickstarter, which is great. So it's going to go on until March 6th of 2021. It's going on now. Everybody go check it out. The link is in the show notes below. But guys, thank you so much for coming on and tell us about this game. It sounds awesome. I want to see it, and of course, again, I want that fingerprint right on the cover there. And
my hand to God, you will have a fingerprint on you.
Dexter, Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show, and good luck with the campaign. Again, everybody go check it out, and have a great night, guys.
Awesome, you guys too. Thanks for your time on this.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, y'all, I'm Dexter,
and I'm Adam.
And we are with Quad City Killers, and we want to thank OMG Nexus for their help on this. Subscribe to the channel down here below. Like, punch the buttons. Isn't that what everybody says? These guys are great. You're great. Love it.